chairman.
Joining us now to talk about it, constitutional attorney and partner at First and 14th, Chris Murray, constitutional attorney Don Brown, an attorney at Judicial Watch, former Trump attorney and author of Defiant, Inside the Mar-a-Lago Raid, and the left's ongoing lawfare, Christina Bobb. Pleasure to have all three of you here. Christina Bobb, going to start with you. Who do you like so far as the potential replacement?
Well, I would probably say Lee Zeldin. I think he's most likely the front runner. It's got to be someone who's willing to clean out the Department of Justice, because I think a lot of what Pam Bondi was up against was just the internal dynamics of the department and being able to make things happen. And so it's got to be someone who's willing to be a little bit of a bulldog and go in and actually kind of go against the grain. I think Lee Zeldin would probably be great for that. To be honest, it's kind of a personality thing. I think I know Harmeet. I do not know Jay Clayton, so I can't really speak to him other than his public profile. So, but I would probably put my money on Lee Zeldin.
Yeah, Don, same question to you. We were talking to various lawyers earlier, and they all described Harmeet Dillon as the lawyer's lawyer, said that she's got that big personality. She knows how to manage. She can handle it. So we're hearing a lot of votes for her from other lawyers. Is there someone maybe also who is not on that list who you think would be great?
Well, I think this name was used in an earlier segment, and that's Jeanine Pirro. And Christina, you used the word bulldog, and our previous guest used it. And the question is, who is going to finally get in there and start attacking this corrupt legacy of lawfare? You know, these prosecutions against the president weren't just against the president. They were against folks like Douglas Mackey, the cartoonist from down in Florida, who simply did a cartoon of Hillary Clinton and got prosecuted 5 years later. Remember the McCloskeys, Doug and Patricia, just holding a gun. They get prosecuted by Kim Gardner. Mark Houck, who was a pro-life father, who got prosecuted in Philadelphia after local prosecutors dropped the case because the DOJ was mad about the reversal of Roe v. Wade. You know, these have been massive assaults on the Constitution. Nothing has been done. So the real question is who most quickly meets the criteria of being willing to take this on. Susan Rice has said, we're coming after you when we get back in power. And if we don't do anything now, because these have been assaults on the Constitution, we're just opening the door for them to come back full force. And I think that's really going to be the main criteria for the next election. Who's going to carry this out?
All right. Well, just so the audience knows, Lee Zeldin, he's the current administrator for the EPA. He does have a legal background. Just want to bring it up. He's got his JD from Albany Law School. He served at the JAG Court Prosecutor's Office. He's practiced in private law. He does have some legal background. Chris, is that enough to lead the, the highest law office of the land?
I mean, I think it could be, but I guess I would say count me as a vote, by the way, for Harmeet Dillon. I've worked with Harmeet Dillon. I do a lot of work in the election space. I've worked with her directly. I think that she really, I heard you use the phrase a lawyer's lawyer. She really is a lawyer's lawyer. She's fantastic. She knows what lawfare looks like on the other side. She has defeated lawfare from the position of a defendant. She has successfully prosecuted civil cases for her clients that have knocked down tons of laws in the state of California. I think she would do one heck of a job as the Attorney General.
Christina, do you think that we'll see Pam Bondi actually sitting for that testimony on Capitol Hill coming up in a couple weeks? A lot of people saying, yeah, she still needs to sit down for it. Do you think she'll ultimately be, I'll say, the fall guy or the fall gal here for the Epstein files gone wrong?
She could be. I do think she ends up sitting for it. I think there's a lot that has gone wrong. At the very least, the way that it was all rolled out. She could end up taking the blame for that. Or I think the administration is more taking the position of kind of cleaning it up rather than saying anybody needs to be a fall guy. I think from their perspective, they have been more transparent about the Epstein files than anybody else. It doesn't satisfy the public, but they have released 3 million files that nobody else released. So I think from the administration's perspective, they're very proud of what they've done with the Epstein files. And from the public's perspective, they may try to make her look like the fall guy, and the public makes up their mind.
Don, I want to point this out in the statement released by former Attorney General Pam Bondi. She, noted that under her tenure, the lowest murder rate in 125 years in the country. Terrorism convictions for members of Antifa, that was big during the campaign. Shattered domestic and transnational gangs across the country. Done a lot of work. 90 key cartel figures taken out. That to me, would seem like a lot of success. Clearly, though, to President Trump, something is lacking. We've been talking about it throughout the day, whether that's the Epstein files handling or the lack of lawfare prosecutions here. So how do you please the president at the same time?
Well, I think, first of all, you give credit where credit's due. She's done a lot of good things, as Matt Gaetz pointed out. But you've got to attack the lawfare problem. I think a seminal moment.
So that's
in
the
Pam's
biggest thing
tenure.
you think right now, the lawfare?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to show something for that, and there's been nothing, especially when the prosecutions were dropped against Letitia James and Jim Comey because they waited too long. That was absolute professional incompetence. They should have gone then, if you ask me. I don't know how you dropped the ball on that.
All right, we're
But
going
you
to have
gotta
to
hit
leave it
the
there.
lawfare.
All right, Don, Chris, Christina, great conversation. Thank you.